Welcome back to McCarthy Performance. We're working on the 283 crank that I just drilled the nose yesterday. We're going to go around all the holes and all the edges of the crankshaft to make sure there's no metal hanging off of it. There's some pretty nasty stuff hanging off of this, and obviously when GM makes them, they they pretty much pop them out. Nobody's taken off any of the sharp razor edges, and we're going to break all that stuff. So Okay, we just broke the edges on it. That's not going to affect the balance of that crank at all whatsoever. If anybody's out there thinking that that's going to change it, it isn't going to change it, trust me. So now we're going to go and drill through the oiling holes for the crankshaft. Make sure that's all clean. Wipe all the grit off. Wash the crank. Then it's ready to be put in the engine. We'll be checking for clearances, of course, before we put it in, but it'll be closer to getting ready to put in the engine. You know, you can tape up the journals if you're concerned, if you think you're going to hit them. You know, obviously you don't want to hit the journals. You can do some of the general prep before the crank gets ground if you're going to have the crank ground. So we're going to use a gun cleaner on a drill, go through the oiling holes, make sure there's no rot up in there, and this crank has been boiled and blasted, and the guy that ground it did it, but I'm going to go over it again, make sure that nothing's going to fall out we have to worry about. Anything falling down in the bearings. Okay, now we're gonna go around and make sure there's no burrs on the edges after doing that. You could catch the bearings. Well, that's kind of how I do them. Usually I do this before I polish them. He did it already, but I wanted to go in the holes and clean them out, and that could bring up an edge burr on the oiling hole, so I had to do it again. Um, you know, if you do it with a hand drill and you do it with an old cartridge, chances are if you do move out of the hole, you're not going to gouge up the journal. On new cranks, I go in here with a little Dremel with a stone and I clean out the leading edge and then I hit it with a belt. Well, that's going to be it for this. Not much going on. We got a little high spot there. We got it straightened out. Looks like somebody knocked ear off with a chisel. We'll take care of that. Get that high spot off of there. She's a little bit worse than the timing chain gear sits on that, so we want to make sure that that's flat in there. Got a hell of a chunk of steel hanging off of it. Obviously there's teeth on the side of the file. You don't want to gouge into the crank nose. But you know, she's been around the block a few times, so she is what she is. Somebody took after it with a claw hammer. She's pretty well dinged up. Got a spot right there, and get that down and we'll call it a good. Yeah, she definitely got hit hard right there. I'll show you what we got going on here. It's got quite a high spot. Excuse the fingers. You always want to look cranks over really well. You can see right here, that's a high spot. So that's going to throw the timing gear off. It's not going to fit all the way down. You can see right here there's a little high spot still. We're filing it. As you can tell, the metal is dull. The shiny part is the high spot. So we're going to file this a little bit more here and here. Then we're going to call it good. We want it to set flat, and obviously it would have not set flat. That can cause you problems. So we'll file that a little bit more. So that's pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty decent. You only want to take the high spots off. Obviously, you don't want to remachine this with a file, but you also want to make sure it's setting flat, and everything else looks pretty decent. So we're going to call that good. We don't care about the little nicks around the edges as long as the surface for the timing gear is flat. That's all we're interested in. Let's break that edge just a little bit. A piece of sandpaper. Oh, a mineral spirit. Give it a bath in mineral spirits. Wash it with a brush a couple of times, then we'll run it through the jet washer and wash it, and then it'll be set to go in the engine. Of course, we'll check it for size, like I said before, and then it'll be ready to go. Well, thank you for watching. It's not very exciting stuff, but it's all stuff that has to be done. You can't overlook any of this stuff. New cranks, used cranks, don't care. Everything's got to be checked. Okay, I think I'm going to make a driver. I've got a piece of hard scrap plastic that I'm going to whittle out on the lathe and make a driver for the rope seal. And I think we'll get over on the lathe and get that going right now. Gonna make it a little bit undersized, about right there. So we got a piece of hard plastic whittled out. I'm going to see how this works. Hopefully the 2-3 block, I can drive it with it. Yeah, that worked out pretty good, and just got to do a little trimming on that. Gonna test the fit. Obsolete. You can't get a rope seal gasket anymore for a 57 Chevrolet. I had some rope laying around here. That looks like it's gonna work out all right. I'll do the cap and I'll check it and make sure. But that feels good. It's in there, and I just got to do a little trimming. We're going to probably leave this video right here. I'll continue with the main bearings and checking everything for size. Thank you for watching.